Hello, my name is Kevin and welcome to the Love Decanters channel. This is the fifth and final part of my visit to Helios Antiques in Weedon. I don't know how long this is going to be. It might be a bit longer because I didn't want to use just a few bits for another one. So if it's long, I'm sorry. I haven't edited it together yet. It is what it is. So hope you enjoy it. Yeah. There's more interesting glass. Obviously, there's more interesting glass. There's always more interesting glass because if you're interested in glass, it's always interesting. God, what am I saying? That's so cliche, isn't it? Terrible, terrible. Anyway, let's get on and have a look at the glass. Milk, Victorian milk vase in the back. Coal painted. Quite often, that coal painting looks quite good. Good condition. Normally, it's all worn off. Yeah, that's quite nice. Orifer's decanter here, and number 12500 Fred Barker, or Freddie Barker, I think it says. Yeah, no, how old is she? I've not seen that before with a owl on it, but the shape, I'll be able to look that up. This slab decanter, because I did a video on slab decanters, originally from the 1930s, I think, by Orifer's, and then everybody else started copying them, and then there was a big rush of them post-war. The book we're looking at is The Decanter, Ancient to Modern by Andy McConnell, and this is the one I think we're looking at. Can you see here? So this is Orifer's. It's a design by Edward Hald from 1940. Now, Edward Hald's a very important guy. He worked with Simon Gate in the 1920s and really started the modern glass movement. I think this might be one of the earliest of this type of decanter that you can get. I think maybe there's another one. I'll go back to the pages that might be. There's some more over here. You can see if I can do this with the camera. And I think the earliest ones are 1938. So yeah, I think it counts as an early one. Got a couple of silver top claret jugs in there. They're not my taste, but they're expensive ones because there's so much work, basically, and there's even work in the silver work. Can you see? If I just jump in, see the work in the glass, and then all the chasing in the silverware. That's where the value comes in. The back of this cabinet looks like there's a piece of WMF. Yeah, silver. He's saying silver 1960s. The piece, what's it, sterling? Yeah, I think it's earlier than that. Sorry, it's difficult to see. Looks pre-war. I will try and find that, or something close to it. So why was I kind of like so convinced it was WMF? So convinced. Anyway, WMF made a lot of silver bowls with glass liners where the bowl conforms to the inside of the glass liner, and then they would cut the glass liner and make it a bit more fancy. And I thought I would show you a bit of that. So I've just typed in WMF silver glass bowl, and I thought, yeah, I'll show you some that came up. So the first one I'm going to show you is not that close. It's this one here, but you can see how it conforms to the thing. But this one's not too cut. It's a bit plain as far as WMF goes. But yeah, it's quite nice. It's got a little chip on it there. This type of rim is called a Monteith, but yeah, it's not that. So I've got a par more to show you. What's going on here? Oh, there we go. This one is closer to it, so it's got the same fan cutting in the middle, same kind of overall shape, oval shape, and then the rise here. Plunk that, it should make it bigger. Yeah, different style of pattern on it, but yeah, the glass is similar. Then we've got another one not quite the same, but you can see it's got this, as I was talking about, conformal pattern where it follows the thing and then they've cut it. So there's another one. Let's keep going. This one's kind of in between. It's an oval one. Let's see, does this picture expand? Yeah, there you go. And then they've just, I said, they've made it a little bit fancy in the middle there, and it's built to fit in. This line has been built to fit in it. And we've got some more that are a bit more like, oh, that's the same one again. Seen that one already. There's this one, but with the fan shape. They're not sure if it's WMF, so they're being honest on that. And actually, to tell the truth, it looks a bit Frenchy, but I might be wrong. Anyway, this one, they're saying this is WMF, and yeah, you can see the. Let's see if I can go back a couple of shots. You can see how it fits in, how the bowl kind of conforms to it. And I've got one more. Again, where the bowl conforms, and then it's got a little fanny pattern here going around like this. So yeah, this is the kind of thing it is. I think it's WMF. Some of them are more geometric, some of them more like this organic. Sort of like usually geometric are a bit more younger still, which is like the Wiener Werkstatts, more geometric Art Nouveau that was coming out of Austria, which I think is where they're from, whereas the French Art Nouveau was like this, more organic. But anyway, that's me just blobbing on about theory of design and crap. But anyway, yeah, that's what I think it is. Might be wrong, but that's what I think. Got a little tabletop or buffet top of decanters here. Got a couple of tantalus decanters, and then you got this modern one, but this one's a bit more interesting. This is circa 1810, 1800. Just got normal rings, and you've got panel cut base. I bet you the underside is really, yeah, nice polished pontal, but big ring of wear where it sits on the table. The stopper's a later stopper. This is probably 1830s or 40s or something like that. Fits in okay if you're going to use it though. I'm full on cheating at the moment because I'm using my own website as a reference. I'm in the section that's on post 18, yeah, what's it called? Post 1800 Georgian decanters. And this is actually quite a narrow window because there's a lot going on in this window. And these are the decanters that are closest. Probably actually this one is the closest. The one we were looking at has a slightly more Prussian shape. So this is called a shouldered decanter. You can see the sides here are quite straight. If this came out more, was a bit more rounded, you'd call it Prussian. The variation in the shapes, I think I've done a video on Georgian decanter shapes before, and you can see the variations are like, ooh, is that 10 degrees or is it at, you know, fully at naught, you know, or 90 degrees from the ground, or 80 degrees from which way you want to do that angle. But anyway, this is the one, and if you look at the stopper here, you can see it is like an umbrella, so it's got a bit of hollow underneath. Some of them don't. Some of them are fairly flat. They shouldn't. Later ones are a bit more up like this. But yeah, this is how they were around that time, and although I've put a date on for 1810, that's a bit of a, what can I say, conservative date. So it could be 1800. but I do have a lot of reference for it here, so I've gone with that date. Yeah, so anyway, that's why I was saying the stopper's not right. It should be more like this. If you go back in time, yeah, some of them might have bullseyes. Do any of these? Yeah, there's one. You can see it's a bit taller and slimmer with a narrower pouring lip. So yeah, but usually if it's got a slightly wider pouring lip, it should have a mushroom. The mushroom should be close to the width of the pouring lip. That one's pretty good. You see this one. See how they are. This is how they should be. Even this one's kind of wide. You can see what I mean though. Anyway, in fact, shape wise, this is probably the closest one to it, and you can see still has the same mushroomy stopper. So anyway, there you go. That's the kind of decanter it is, and why I was talking about the stopper. The stopper's probably about the blown mushroom started coming in sort of like in the 1820s and 30s, so it's probably about 20 years newer than the decanter. In the middle here we've got a few more claret jugs. This one looks modernish, as in post-World War II. This one looks very Art Nouveau. That's nice with moulding as well. Monteith base. See round like that. You see that on some 18th century glasses, but this is not that old, I don't think, but it's very nice. And then you've got this one here. Feel the cutting. Yeah. This doesn't feel like it's acid polish, so I think this is pre-World War One. What's he got? Edwardian. There you go. So there's an unusual orifice lamp in here. You can see the bottom has got the orifice label. And it's got these printies cut around it. I've not seen that before. If anybody knows what that is, let me know. Because a chap in the shop would like to know as well. So I've had a really good go at trying to find that ball-shaped orifice vase, and the answer is no such luck. No such luck at all. This is the nearest, and it's not even ball-shaped, but what's that? Get off. Close that. There you go. Yeah, this is the kind of, in looks, this is the closest I could get. But I've never seen one before, so I imagine it's not common. I've never seen anything like it, in fact, so definitely not common. It's a little bit strange, but anyway, yeah. So again, if anybody knows what that is, please let me know, because I will pass that on. Last time in this cabinet, look at this. Get this out of the way. Isn't that nice? Art Nouveau. And it's got the year. It's a maker. Is there a maker? Drop in on that. No, that's unusual. Oh no, I don't know what happened there. I only got about 3 seconds of film with the hallmark, which was underneath the top. When you lift the top up, you can see the full hallmark. This is it here. The maker anyway. It's Hookin and Heath. So these guys are an interesting silversmith. In the 1870s, they commissioned Christopher Dresser or Dr. Christopher Dresser, to do designs for them. Christopher Dresser was the first industrial designer in the world. So his job was just doing design. He didn't work for a company. He worked for many companies doing silver, glass, pottery, furniture, all sorts of stuff for lots of different companies, metalwork. So anyway, he worked for Hookin and Heath, and that elevates them a little bit. I did actually try and find if there were any other silver sifters like that, and the answer is no. That was this Hookin Heath silver sifter. And then I tried to see, is there any Art Nouveau glass that was like that as well? And the answer, of course, is no again. A lot of the stuff that you're looking for, let me show you my own website. I've got something here. It's like this. So yeah, this is 1882 to 3. Has a different style of mark on it, an earlier mark. But yeah, this is the kind of things that he was designing. This is also one of his designs, and this one, yeah. So you get the idea. This is the kind of things he was doing for them. If you're looking out for things from Hookin and Heath, you get the slight elevation over most makers, standard makers, because it's Hookin and Heath and it has that special interest. Then you have things that are Hookin and Heath but are similar to a dresser design, and that elevates a bit. It's Hookin and Heath and it is a dresser design, and then it's Hookin and Heath and it's a signed dresser design. Yeah, by the time you're getting there, you're talking like, if this one here, which is a dresser design, if that was signed, yeah, you're talking thousands. As it's unsigned, talking hundreds. So yeah, and for some of the designs, I think there was a teapot that sold for 100,000 plus or something. So yeah, you're talking crazy money. But anyway, I don't have any signed pieces, so I don't have any crazy valuable things. But anyway, I just thought I'd let you know that little bit about Hookin and Heath. I've got a bunch of modernish cut glasses here. These have got the Edinburgh Crystal label on. I can get a name for those. Got a Waterford one. Got a name for that, and then we've got a couple of Hyacinth valves. Yeah, this one looks older. Oh, almost kicking something there. This one though, this looks a bit newer. I'm wondering if it's a Whitefriars one. I'll have a look. I'm not certain. Probably not actually, but I'll have a look and see. It's quite nice. I'm looking at the replacements.com website, and yeah, when you've got a name already, it's easier to find a pattern like this, because this is a fairly anonymous pattern. You've got some crisscrossy bits and then some fan cutting at the top. It's fairly regular. It's all about the balance of it, how much crisscrossing at the bottom, how big it is, how big the fan is, all of that stuff. It's fairly standard pattern. Anyway, this pattern is called Old Fashioned Tay, and Replacements is American site, so it's $80 in effect per glass. Yeah, so they've got 4 left in stock. You have to remember, these are ridiculous prices. This is for someone, they had 6, they broke 1, and they wanted another one. I mean, this is probably like when they were new, they were probably costing like £50 each or something like that, because this is hand cut crystal from Scotland. And then if you break one or lose it, then you've already got your sunk cost in there, and you want to get it back to being 6 again. So anyway, that's what it is. It's Old Fashioned Tay. They don't give you dates for it. I mean, for some things they give you dates, but not everything. back with replacements.com, and this is the pattern that we were looking for on that bowl. Now, I was going to keep looking, but there are 39 pages of shapes within the Lismore pattern, and I just didn't have the patience to stick with it. I went through about 10, thought that's enough. This is the one that's closest to it in a way, in that it's got the same, it's a hot glass, but yeah, the same pattern around the top, but it's got the same stem. Yeah, so it's just proportions with this: short stem, wider bowl, and you're done. So it's Lismore. Again, there's no dates for this one. I'm getting a bit they used to put dates. I'm sure everything had dates on historically. Yeah, you just see this, just like millions of this thing. If I go back to, let me show you. But page 1 of 39. Yeah, you just lose the will to live in the end. So anyway, that's what that pattern is called, and this is how you find stuff. I didn't know what it was called. I just started scanning through the Waterford stuff, and then I saw this pattern and thought, yeah, that's it. Little glass bobbins here. These are for lace makers. They tie the ends of the lace around and they flick them around as they're making the lace. Glass ones. Normally they're made out of wood. It's usually some sort of fruit wood that's turned. But these are glass ones, and there's like someone's collection of them. They're not very common. They're quite nice. I like the plainest one there. This one here. Let me zoom in. Can I get my finger in? This dark one in the middle with the little white lines in it. I like that one the best. But they're quite nice. So before lace was made by machines, making it was an extremely skilled job, done by ladies, of course. And if you were not that skilled, you'd make a little narrow piece of lace, and then as you became more skilled, you could make wider and wider pieces of lace. I'll show you, there's a picture here. And you use these bobbins, yeah, and each piece has a piece of thread on it. And let me show you the picture and you'll get the idea of how it was made. Where has it gone? This one here. So this is a complex piece. See all of these pieces of thread here, all attached to these little bobbins. Now those were glass ones, and they're very rare. I hardly ever, I've only seen glass ones a few times before in all the time I've been collecting. Usually they're little wooden ones like this. You have them all different, so in your head you can keep an idea of what's going on. And basically you shuffle these round and you put pins down and you shuffle them backwards and forwards. You know, this one here, that one there, blah, 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 over and over again, and you make the pattern. It's just unbelievable thing how someone can do that. Yeah, it's just an unbelievable thing, and that's why it's so skillful, and that's why back in the day lace was a very expensive thing. But also you have to remember, this is before people had the TV and radio, and a lot of these people couldn't even read or write, you know, so no internet either. So they had, you know, as long as they could have, you know, enough light to do it. In fact, actually, let me stop this a second. I'll show you something else that goes with these, okay? So if you were making lace for a living, it was difficult to see what you were doing, and they had special lamps to make them. I think the idea was that the light would shine through it and focus the light to a certain point where you were actually doing the lace making, so that you could see what you were doing more clearly. So you can see, I mean, these are 18th century ones. You can see like this. This one looks a bit later, but you can see like it's a whole thing of, you know, I've seen a few of these when I'm out and about. These are quite rare as well. They're usually, you know, a couple of £100 a piece or something if you find a real one. This one, the colour of this one looks a bit off, but that looks genuine. That looks genuine. Yeah, that one does too. So some of these are more modern. This one, I expect, this is a sort of like probably a Victorian one or something, and it has this back here. That probably was silver, and it's now completely tarnished black, but that would be to reflect the light so that you could carry on making your lace into the night for as long as possible. So yeah, there's a whole category of lamps to go with the lace making, because it was a valuable thing that someone were doing, and they were probably, although the lace ended up being expensive, the people making it probably weren't paid that much. But anyway, that's the story of life in general, even today. I think this is a Brierley Studio vase. I think I've said before, they usually have a cut edge like that. I will try and figure that out, because he's not sure. He said it might be Lotes. Some of the Lotes papillon patterns are a bit like this, but that cut rim makes me think, and it's quite a big one. I've not seen, normally they're little tiny things. This is like 9-10 inches tall, so that's quite a chunky piece. So I started looking for Brierley Studio glass, trying to find a vase the same with a label on it, because you can see quite a few of them still have labels on. They're quite a fancy thing. I was looking for one which was the same shape and a similar pattern, and yeah, so I did find one which says marked, this one here. So I thought, right, I'm in there, and obviously where does it go? 20th century glass. Of course it does. So this one's marked. They're not normally marked. Normally they just have a paper label, as far as I know anyway. Royal Brierley Studio. So yeah, that's cool. If I was to come out of this one here, go back, scroll down, you can see there's other colours with the label on, but the same shape. So, because this is studio glass, a lot of these colours and that and patterns are made by throwing salts into the layer when they're cooling down, and it creates this these random marks and patterns on them. You see, that's the one we were looking at, but you can see there's quite a few in that shape, but with, you know, this is one set of salts which is creating this color, and it'll be a different one creating this color, or it might be that it's got a base color and they're using different salts. You know, this is studio glass. They're probably mucking around trying to create the perfect one every day, and no two are exactly the same. It's got a whole service of Waterford here. I'll be able to find a pattern name for these. They're marked. I don't know if you can see. Let's see if I can zoom in on that foot there and pick it out. Can you see the word just on the edge? It says Waterford. Let's see what they sell for in replacements.com. That'll be quite interesting, because there's like 6 of those, 6 of those, 6 of, yeah, there's 4 sets of 6 there, so that's something on its own. This is quite interesting. I think I've seen something like this in one of the books. I think it might be in the British Glass 1800 to 1914 book. I'm not definite. The handle looks like something Thomas Webb would do. Yeah, because that's their patent handle. Or it might be in the Victorian Decorative Glass book. I've definitely seen that look before, so I'll have a poke around, see if I can find it. Oh, and behind it is a little, I think this is Bohemian, little bell. This book is Decorative Victorian Glass by Cyril Manley. It's not a jug, this is what we're looking at. Let me zoom it in. What you can see is that it's got prunts and swags like the jug we were looking at. So yeah, it looks very, has the same feel about it, the design. According to this, it's made by Thomas Webb, circa 1900. Now, the jug we were looking at had a ribbed handle on it, and Thomas Webb patented the method for making that handle in 1869. So, it makes me think that the jug is a Thomas Webb jug, and as this was the fashion in 1900, circa 1900 is probably the date. Now, there's no guarantee because, as I've said previously, people were making cranberry in their back gardens in Stourbridge, and I don't know why they would make that in particular, but apparently they were. And so it could have been someone copying something that Thomas Webb did, but it does seem a bit sophisticated for that. So yeah, and look, good quality, so I think it probably is Thomas Webb. Got a little Franzval bowl here. I think it's Franzval. I'll try and find it on the website. I'm looking at the kralikglass.com website here, and yeah, so this page here is this Franzval's Decor Index page. They've got Decor Index pages for a few different makers here, and you can see they've got all these kind of different patterns, and yeah, you have to make yourself familiar with them, that's how you know. But here it is, this one here, you can see it looks very similar. Click it here again. It's called, well, Stripes and Aventurine, and there you go. That is the same pattern, different shape. I'm sure if I spend my life going through the shapes, in fact there is a shape. Oh, give me a minute. So yeah, the shape wasn't there. Now the problem with Franzval's is that there's no proper catalogues for them. There's a few drawings, I think. And the guy who runs this website, what he has been doing is, because they've been using the same shapes with different patterns, so, or the same patterns with different shapes, whichever way around you want it, and he's been gluing all those together. So if he knows this is a proper shape, then he can see this pattern used on different shapes, then he can then say these shapes are part of this manufactured by Franzval's, and the opposite way round. So yeah, it's a labour of love what he's been doing, but he's created this website where you can go here and look for patterns and shapes. This one is the same pattern as well. Look at this with the stripes and then the green, but just on a completely different shape. And that's what we're looking at with that little bowl. I couldn't find it. I don't think, in fact, actually, is that it there? I think that's close to the same shape. So yeah, I was looking in the shapes, I didn't see it. This shape here is not in the shapes section. Don't know why, but anyway, there you go. It's Franzval's. It's probably from the 20s and 30s. So yeah, that's what it is. Franzval's was closed by World War II, never came back. Got 18th century Tazza. Look at that, with a pedestal stem. Look at that, and a giant folded foot. Yeah, that's quite nice. Back in the day, if you were really flash, you would have smaller and smaller ones piled up like a pyramid, and you'd have your jelly glasses and custard glasses piled on it. I thought I would use the ScottishAntiques.com website. So this is another retail site. I was using the Demusée one and another one in the last video, so I thought I'll use these guys. They're another reputable retailer that you can use, fairly well trust their listings. Eric Knowles and Mark Hill are both involved in this.
So yeah, I think Eric Knowles is one of their advisors. So yeah, relatively trustworthy, I think. And I've never seen any problems with what they put up. I think I've seen like about one mistake in all the time I've been playing with it and looking at it. Anyway, this is it. This is a Tazza, probably similar to the one that we were looking at. Yeah, it's about a foot across, which is close to, and they've got a price here. So this is a proper retail price. Folded foot. You can see this ribbed stem. This is called a Silesian stem, I think. Yeah, and when it comes to wine glasses, these are a bit earlier. They're more mid 18th century, and they kind of followed on in Tazzas. I'm not sure they ever stopped making them like that. Look, he's even given you English and Irish Glass Book 5 Tablewares, Geoffrey Wilson. I've even got that book, so I could even go and look, but I'm not going to go and look it up. But anyway, so they've even got a book reference. I could probably start looking and put a bunch more in there, but I'm not going to do that. But anyway, yeah, so that's what it is. 18th century Tazza. If you look here, the other one that was here, look, there's this one, which is about a foot across, and it's £350. And then you've got this one. This one proportionally looks like it's quite small. It's a bit cheaper. And how much across is that? Yeah, it's only 15. So it's like it's 6 and a bit inches across. Yeah. So the way these were used is that actually you would create a pyramid. So you'd have maybe 3, maybe 4 even, depending on how big they were. And you would put things like jelly glasses and sweetmeats on them, and you'd have a little pyramid coming up on your table, and it would look very fancy, and people would take their sweets off them. Yeah, I've seen pictures, period pictures of them like that. So yeah, it's a very fancy thing for posh people because glass was very expensive back then. So there's a couple more things here. This is a Stuart Crystal decanter with faux Georgian rings. I think this will be a pre-war one. I'll look up the pattern, see if I can find it. And there's this nice jug here. Yeah. So I think these are French 19th century ones. I've seen them listed as cider jugs. So yeah, I'll see if I can find one to show you. I'm looking at the Stuart Crystal 1927 catalogue that I've downloaded from the Stuart Crystal Collectors Facebook group. And yeah, here is the decanter that we were looking at. It comes with these glasses. There's no name at this point. In 1927 they didn't have any names for anything. I think they might have had a couple of names by the time you get to 1938 catalogue. We've just got this number 23518. But anyway, what's interesting is that, so this is 1927, jump forward to 1972, and it's here. These glasses, if you see, these glasses here are these glasses here. It's called a Dorset now, and they're still doing the same decanter with the same shape. So yeah, but when you're kind of like putting dates on things, even if you know it was still made until 1972, unless there's something specific that says it's not from 1927, you should put down the earliest date you know of. So you probably wouldn't go wrong. I could probably go through the 1927 catalogue and have a pop at trying to say how much early it might be, depending on the dates, on the numbers that were in there, and where that was in the numbering scheme. But regardless of that, if you were to say 1920s for that decanter, you wouldn't be wrong, and that makes it an antique. Sticking with ScottishAntiques.com. Yeah, so French cider jug. Here we are, and this is Not exactly the same, but very close. It has the same folded rim, hollow handle. This has these two rings around the middle. You have to remember these are antique. Difference with this handle is it's from top to bottom. What we were looking at was from bottom to top, which makes it later. Yeah, so, and he's given a lovely French reference book, which I don't have. In fact, it looks like there's a couple of pages worth, but yeah, I don't have that book. And there's another one which is a bit different again, but same folded top here, but again this one has got the same top to bottom handle with a little wiggly bit on the bottom. So it's the same kind of thing with this folded rim like this, and it's very distinctive. I've not seen any other types of jugs with that kind of folded lip around the top. So yeah, that's what we've got. And is he given the same reference? He's actually given an actual page for this one. Attributed Normandy. So yeah, because that's where they make cider. It's supposed to be cider, and Brittany. In fact, he's got it written down here. Northwest. Yeah, Normandy. I've been to those places, and they have cider. So yeah. Anyway, that's what that jug is. It's one of those French cider jugs with the folded rim at the top. Very distinctive. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you enjoyed the whole series, because I have actually tried to bring in a few new references, either book ones or online ones. Yeah, so just to try and, you know, improve my repertoire and show you what else is out there. I've enjoyed doing Helios. The furniture was, yeah, I like furniture. The only problem is you can't just collect furniture the way you can glass. You know, Decanters is bad enough as far as space goes. Furniture, yeah, I would have to have a small warehouse. And then what am I going to do with it there? So, yeah. So with that said, if you're going to Weedon, go to Helios Antiques, because it's a really good place. They were very friendly. I bought some stuff off them, and I'll show that in another video that I'm going to do. And what else? All the references will be in the description below. The contact details for Helios Antiques will be in the description below. And please remember to like and subscribe, because it really helps my channel expand, etc, etc. And yes, so thank you for watching. Have a good night. Good night.